already we have the Mercedes Lady Tigers and the PSJA Lady Bears on the floor. Lady Bears jump out to the early lead as we start this game. Bears ran the table yesterday in pool play. We were able to keep track of their travels. And by winning the pool, they stay in this gym, which will eventually be where they play the championship game. Spiked down by the Lady Tigers, and that's good by Mika Vinto. Just out of bounds, though. A good hit, but it carries out of bounds. 3-0 game. Lady Bears on top, back of the service line. It's got the Cavazos. Cavazos gets that serve across. High set up at the net. Ball back over on the Mercedes side. Vinto hits it off the double block. Kept alive up near the net. Bears can't get it across. And Mercedes will score their first point. Lady Tigers, we've been covering them in a couple of games in their tournament play in the preseason, or pre-district, I should say. Karame Zamora puts it across. Played by the Lady Bears on a back set this time for Jumaina Campos. Ball back on the back corner, played by the Bears. Bears set it up this time. That's blocked back at you by Vinto. Ball still alive as Campos couldn't get it past Vinto. This time she does. Ball up in the net, punched over. And in the net called on Mercedes, and a point to PSJA. They're talking in the hospitality room in between games. This PSJA team has got some attention on how well they played here in this yesterday's play in this tournament. Brownsville Rivera in the back gym, trying to maneuver their way back into this gym. Tomorrow they'll bring the top 8 teams into here. They'll continue with a split court and eventually wait till the championship game before they spin things around and open it up on the full court for play. Ball back over on the Mercedes side. Punched over. High set in the middle. Hit over on the sideline. Covered nicely by the Mercedes Tigers. That one's over, and a point scored on 4 hits against Mercedes. PSJA goes up 5-2. Back to serve is Victoria Fuentes. Fuentes was on some of our highlight reels. Had a real nice day one. Serves it up, and the Mercedes Tigers set up Vinto on that backside. Plays that off the block. Got the angle right. And scores the point for the Lady Tigers of Mercedes. 5-3 game. That serve is in for a point for the Tigers, making it a 5-4 game. Our coverage continues here. We've got 6 games. This is already our 3rd game as we got underway with a 12 o'clock play. Yesterday we started at 2 o'clock. So we'll get out of here a little earlier from this gym today and be back here tomorrow for continued coverage. Tomorrow on this floor, we'll cover the 1 quarterfinal game. We'll actually get 2 of those, 2 quarterfinals, 1 of the semifinals, and a championship game. And then depending on what they do with the court, we may be able to get the 3rd place game in. Lady Bears up on this one 6-4. These games all go to 25 in these best-of-3 series. For games 1 and 2, there's a cap at 30, meaning that you win by 2 unless you get to 30 first, and then it doesn't matter. And then once you get past the game 2, if you do extend into game 3, as that rocket shots off the Mercedes Tigers up off the ceiling area, scoring a point for the Lady Bears, and they go up 7-4. If you do get to game 3 in these best-of-3, it will be a game to 15 win by 2 with a cap 20. Miss hit on that one by the Lady Tigers. Tigers have to stay on the court here. They would just got off a match in which they pressured Brownsville veterans before falling. And so not much room to rest for the Tigers as they're right back out here against arguably the best team in this bracket or the pool on day 2. Miss hit there by the Tigers. Bears up at 9-4. Scoreboard reads 8-4. We'll leave it there till she changes that. Played across by the Tigers. Bears on a back row attack. Sent to the back row for the back corner. That is inbounds, and a point for the Tigers of Mercedes. 8-5 game. Tigers will substitute into the game. Checking in, Ale Ledesma. Also entering is Mela Vallejo. Vallejo gets it over. That's a point for Mercedes, and it's an 8-6 game. That's what the Tigers did over there in Brownsville Veterans when they played them. While we were covering the other game, you can see both courts going at the same time. And they were able to stick in that series with the Lady Chargers before falling. A high set for the Tigers on the left side, spiked over, dug out there by Vivica Villarreal. Ball back over on the Tiger side. Vinto becomes a passer. That's what you want her doing if you're the opposition. She can deliver with some big hits. Speaking of big hits, how about that? A kill for Murillo. Point PSJA. Bears go on top at 9-6. Substitution in the game now for PSJA. Back to the service line as Muriel Murillo serves it across. Good dig that time by Zamora. Set it up right side, block back at you. Now back on the Bears side. They can set up something on the back row. Spiked across by Villarreal. Played by the Tigers. Back on the Tigers side. Keeping it alive yet again. One-handed over this time by Carissa Moya. Center for the Bears. Nobody there for the block, and Kayla Hernandez thunders it home. Hernandez on the kill. Bears go up at 10-6. Next serve across. Tigers are Mercedes on a center set this time. Spiked over. Covered, though, off the hit by Carla Lemus. Ball back on the Tiger side to the back row. Dug again by Villarreal. Ball over on the Tiger side. Back on the Bears side. Attack from the left side, over. Played by Zamora. A high set. This time they're looking for Lemus. Got that over. Bears there to cover that on the back row. Here comes a hit by Serenity Lopez. Ball back on the Tiger side, and the net it goes. Point PSJA. Longest rally point thus far this game. Won by the Bears. Lady Bears to serve it up. Short serve over. Played by the Tigers over near the sideline. They'll get it over. Bears golden opportunity here. Back set this time. Spike for the back row. Point scored PSJA. Another kill for Hernandez. Kayla Hernandez on another kill. Timeout call by Mercedes. These two teams continue to battle it out. This game brought to you in part by Hacienda Ford, one of our primary sponsors, one of our title sponsors. That and more after this.
For your construction needs in the Rio Grande Valley, check out Hosanna Construction in Farr. Formerly known as Guzman Construction, Hosanna Construction can design and build your home or take care of your home improvements. 802 East Expressway 83, Farr, Texas, Hosanna Construction. Formerly known as Guzman Construction. Call now for free consultations at 956-435-0381. Hosanna Construction, committed to serving you.
Back here on Rio Sports Live after the timeout call. The PSJA Bears, first team back on the floor. Bears in the white uniforms over there on the far side of the court. And they'll serve it up. Right down the sideline. That ricochets all the way up into the stands. Points scored for the Tigers or Mercedes. 12-7 game. One more rotation through, and they'll have their big gun, Mika Vinto, back to the front row. Kylie Pena back to serve. Kylie Pena gets it over. Played by the Bears on a set to the left side. Partial block there by the Tigers. They'll set it on the net. Bears there to cover that. Villarreal back there patrolling that back row. Tigers set it up off the net again. Villarreal right back there on the line, plays that. Cavazos on the pass. Brought over by Campos. Ball on the center for the Tigers. Nice cover that time by Cavazos. Ball back at the net. Hernandez gets it over. Tigers set it up. Mika Vinto from the back row. Ricochets off two players. Home right back on the Mercedes side, and they score a point. Two Bear players. That just like ricochet, and then back in play. It caught the whole gym by surprise, so no shock that the Tigers were caught off guard. Out of nowhere, Mika Vindo unleashed a big hit. And again, it caught PSJA off guard. That wasn't a play, that was a reaction to keep that ball in play. 14-7 game. Sometimes the bounces just go your way. Bears with the lead, back to serve, stands Vivica Villarreal. Gets it across, that's an ace. 8-point lead, PSJA. Villarreal back to serve again. Jump serve on a short approach. Good pass this time, but up at the net, it carries too far, and a kill by Fuentes. It went from a good pass to a great set. Problem was, wrong team on the Mercedes side. Lady Bears score and now lead by 8 as Villarreal back to serve again. Vivica Villarreal. Jump serve across, played by the Tigers. That's still on the back row now, somehow near the net. Nothing doing. Point scored PSJA. Tigers trail by 9. Here in game 1 of this best of 3. Over on the other court, Los Fresnos taking on the Wesco East Lady Panthers. Here in this one, all PSJA. There's another block right at the net as these passes are now carrying just a little bit too far from the Mercedes back row, and they're becoming sets for your opponent. Another serve by Villarreal. Short serve this time. Diving play by the Tigers just to keep it in play. Tipped over on the back row. Back there to cover that is Lopez. Set it up in the middle. Killed down for the Bears. They score again and go up 11. Villarreal to serve again. Vivica Villarreal. In the net it goes. Service there. Ends that run on the line. Back to serve is Mercedes. Now they put that score up. They'll change that. We'll get back to that in a moment. Big spike right down the line, scored for the Lady Bears. On another kill by Victoria Fuentes. Scoreboard now reads 20-8 over on the far side. We'll go with that. Lady Bears making quick work of this one thus far. Serve over by Cavazos. Tigers will try to get that over. Nothing doing. In the net it goes. Point scored to PSJA. Fans asking, yes, PSJA was on our broadcast yesterday, but their coach was the coach that asked us not to keep the games up overnight. She didn't want her team scouted into day 2 action, and we respect that. But you fans who may be like, hey, I know you were broadcasting them yesterday. Yes, we did. There are highlight reels up. Coach did allow us to keep the highlight reels up. And we'll be doing the same thing tonight. These games will be played live for you, but they won't be on here much longer. See my wife checking in. Must be on her free hour. What's a free hour these days? Send my love out to her. Jolisa running the camera today. Serve across by the Tigers. That's Zamora putting that in play on a back set for the Bears. Tipped over the net. Ball back over on the Bear side. Punched across again. Nice placement that time for Katia Cavazos, and that'll score the point. Bears up big here, 23-8. Same situation on the other court where Los Fresnos is up 23-10 in their game against Westaco East. Tigers or Mercedes trying to get back on track here in this one. Ball goes across and a point scored for Mercedes. Make it a 23-9 game. Back to serve for the Tigers is Carissa Moya. They got an earlier start today as the game started at noon instead of 2 o'clock. That means we'll be out earlier here on a Friday. That spike goes into the net first, and that's 4 hits called on the PSJA Bears. Point scored for the Tigers. Next serve across, coming up. Short serve, good pass, back set, off the block. Vento now on the front row for the Tigers. Block that one. Ball comes across this time. Vento there becomes a passer. Got it in the direction of Mela Vallejo. Ball back over on the Bears side. Up off the light fixture this time. Tigers can't recover from that, and a point scored. 1 point away from securing game 1 here are the Lady Bears. We'll maintain our coverage here on this court for the next game as the Bears will square off. I believe they get Brownsville Veterans next. If not, we'll get them in a later game. Serve across, and that's an ace served up, and that's the way game 1 comes to an end. PSJA from start to finish controls this one. They continue to play excellent volleyball through day 1 and now into day 2 here of this tournament. Game 2 of this best of 3 coming up right after this.
Start the new year off right. Alpha Men's Primary Care wants to remind all men it's time for your annual physical. Call to schedule an appointment. It's about the body, mind, and emotion. Stop feeling sluggish, having no energy, or being stressed. Alpha Men's Healthcare believes in a holistic approach to your overall health. Even if you have low testosterone, diabetes, high blood pressure, or gained weight, let Alpha Men's Primary Care help you increase your energy, stamina, endurance, and quality of life. Start feeling young again. Alpha Men's Primary Care is changing the way men's healthcare is done.
Fans, if you want to look your best at the next game, then let Chewy's Custom Sports go to work for you. From custom designs and graphics to mass production in-house. If it's hats, shirts, buttons, mugs, cups, banners, and more, then Chewy's is there for every team and every sport. A veteran-owned company in touch with the community. It's Chewy's Custom Sports in San Benito.
Hola, les habla su amigo Benjamín Gómez, el alcalde de San Benito, invitando a toda la gente que venga a visitarnos aquí a San Benito. Crucen por el puente Los Indios, más bien conocido como el puente de Lucio Blanco. Visítenos a las atracciones que tenemos aquí en San Benito. Aquí los esperamos. Muchas gracias. Su amigo Benjamín Gómez.
For your construction.
Back here on Rio Sports Live as we get set for game 2, and PSJA Lady Bears continue to be the talk of this gym. Starting yesterday when they knocked off Sharyland to start pool play. The Bears have just kind of upped the ante here if you want to compete. And you're looking for teams to start writing in as a shot to winning this whole thing. Well, they got to be included in the talk. after their performance thus far. We start game 2 here of this best-of-3 series. Tigers or Mercedes out with the first point. Bears on the return to serve. Get it on the back row. That sail's just out of bounds, though. Tigers were off balance trying to get back to that ball. Unfortunately for them, nobody put a hand up to touch it as it carried out of bounds. Tigers to serve again. Karime Zamora back at the service line. Bears got that one in for the point. 2-1 game as the Bears now will serve. Back at the service line is Serena Lemus. Lemus to put this one into play. Just short across the net. Somehow the Tigers are able to play that. Spike it past the blockers. Good coverage back there by Villarreal. Big spike this time by Murillo. Back on the Tigers side. Zamora puts that over. High set in the center. Tipped over the left hand by Fuentes. And a point scored for PSJA. Fuentes shows again she dominated the net at times yesterday. That time with she elevates first and then was able to use the left hand to get the point across. Deeper serve this time, right on the money with the pass. Set up Mika Vinto in the front. Good dig that time by Gomez. Ali Gomez back there for PSJA. Here's Vinto again, got it down. Mika Vinto was real quiet in game 1. Game 2 on that rotation went right to her back to back. Back to serve now is Carissa Moya. Moya to serve it up. Gomez on the pass. Set it up this time for Murillo. That hit is down. Point for PSJA. We're all tied at 3 apiece. Lady Bears will rotate in as Victoria Fuentes comes back to serve. To the front row goes Kayla Hernandez. Hernandez. We've said her name often. That serve sails in the net. Off balance just a bit here now are the Lady Bears. They dominated in game 1. Mika Vinto back to serve now for the Tigers. Puts that over. Good pass this time. Setting up Hernandez. Got it off the net. That is down with a point for the Lady Bears. Rolled over the net, right down the line, and then fell right before the sideline. Serve over by the Bears. Back at the service line is Jenna Guajardo. High set for the Tigers. Spiked across by Carla Lemus. Another point scored for Mercedes. Tigers up 5-4. In the other court, Los Fresnos rolling again. They're already up 8-2 on Westaco East. Another serve coming up for the Tigers this time as Aurelio Cifuentes puts it in play. A high set at the net, spiked across through the block. Point scored for PSJA, and we are tied as Hernandez got the kill. Substitution for the Lady Bears as entering the ball game is Jermaine Campos. Meanwhile, back to serve is Muriel Murillo. Line drives that over. Tigers can't return it. Ace scores a point for PSJA. Murillo back to serve again. Just gets it over. Tigers on a jump set this time. That's going to be a lift call and a point to PSJA. Tigers have to be careful now. Once the Bears get in sync and get on the same page, they're capable of scoring points in a hurry. Tigers on the pass, set it up off the net. Bears there to cover that. A high back set for the back row attack. Played by the Tigers. Can't get it off the pass, and a point scored for PSJA. Bears now up at 3, 8-5. Murillo to serve again. Just gets it across. Played by the Tigers. Back on the Bears side. Spike across this time, but in the net called. Katia Cavazos got a little too anxious there as that ball came up. Substitution checks in as Daniela Villarreal will check in the game for the Bears. She'll be on the back row playing defense as the Tigers send back Caitlin Garcia to serve. In the direction of Lopez. Set it up on a big swing and a kill by Jermaine Campos. Campos on the kill. Bears now up by 3 at 9-6. Victoria Fuentes rotates in now to play the front row. Back to serve is Vivica Villarreal. Gets it over. Played by the Tigers on a back set for Mika Vento. Villarreal there to dig that. Sets it up high in the middle. Spiked across by Fuentes. Dug by the Tigers. Tigers attack again. That's off the back row and out of bounds. Point score for the Lady Bears of PSJA. Vivica Villarreal to serve. You've got Daniela Villarreal on the back row as well with her. Jump serve across. Back set Mika Vento. Daniela Villarreal on the return of serve. Spiked across. Played by the Tigers. Ball back up at the net. One-handed over. Villarreal with a pass. The set by Cavazos. The back attack by Vivica Villarreal. Ball at the net. Still in play. Ball back over on the Bears side. Set it up at the net. Two-handed past the block. Good coverage that time by the Tigers. Carla Lemus keeps it in play. Vivica Villarreal there with a pass. Ball back across on the Tigers side. Ball still alive on a long rally. Daniela Villarreal keeps that in play. Diving play by the Bears. They can't get it over. Point scored, Mercedes. 10-7 game. That was the longest rally point of this game between these two opponents. Villarreal on the pass this time. Campos on the set and the kill. But 2 hits is called on the Bears. Another point for Mercedes. Lady Tigers within 2 after falling in game 1 quickly and only scoring 10 points. They've put 8 on the board here in this one. That serve, or that hit goes out of bounds. Another point to Mercedes, and suddenly it's a 1-point game. Tigers now serving for the tie as Carla Lemus strolls back to the line. Lemus gets it over. Bears with a high set in the middle this time, and to the angle. Nice play on the back row by the Tigers to keep this one in play. One-handed over, right in the middle. Nobody, they are cover, point scored for the Bears. PSJA maintaining control of the lead by a slight margin. Now back serving is Katia Cavazos. Tigers are able to get it to Vento. Cavazos dives to keep it in play. Villarreal with a pass that time. It becomes a set, but on the hit, it's carried out by Campos out of bounds. Points scored for Mercedes. They're trying to change that up, or they're going to give it, yep, they do. 11-10 your score. Tigers with it at the middle. Mika Vento tips it over the block. Punched up in the air, though, by the Lady Bears. Then a miscommunication and a point scored. Tie game at 11 apiece. Tigers serving for the lead as Karime Zamora back at the line. Villarreal on the pass. A back set this time for Campos. Takes it off the block. Points scored for Mercedes. And the Lady Tigers up by 1. 12-11. Another serve coming up by Karime Zamora. Just across. Played by the Lady Bears. Good pass. Good set middle. That hit carries out of bounds. Points scored to Mercedes, and suddenly nobody on target for the Lady Bears as everything's going wide. Zamora continues to methodically push her team forward with these serves. Deep serve carries out of bounds. Points scored to the Lady Bears. Substitution in for the Lady Bears as here comes Murillo back in the game. Villarreal has a seat on the bench. Back to serve is Talia Gomez. Looking for the sideline. That carries out of bounds. Point Mercedes. They're back up 2. Lady Tigers substitute in the game. In the front row, that's Aaliyah Ledesma. Tigers with a chance to score here. Set up Vinto. Tips it over. Punched up in the air by the Lady Bears. Another chance for the Tigers. Back on the Bears side, PSJA going to work. Swing there off the block, played by the Tigers. Nice coverage that time after the block. Ball back over on the Mercedes side, and it falls for the point for the Bears. 1 point game, Lady Bears serving as Fuentes strolls back to serve. Just gets it over. Played by the Tigers. On the back row, they'll call a lift and a point scored. We're all tied at 14. Football fans, we do have football coverage coming your way on Rio Sports Live starting on Thursday night. Live video coverage from Brownsville as we'll be featuring the Sharyland Rattlers taking on the Pace Vikings. That'll be our first video game of the night. Another game coming your way from PSJA Stadium. Flower Bluff in town to take on PSJA. That's a point for the Lady Bears. And they go up by 1 at 15-14. Jump serve across, played by the Lady Tigers. Off the back row, spike that over. Played by the Lady Bears. Set it on the right side on the outside. Down and out of bounds. Point Mercedes, we're tied at 15. That one missed by a narrow margin. Next serve across, that carries out of bounds. Point PSJA. Lady Bears back on top by 1. If you're the Lady Bears, you can afford to trade points here. You already have game 1 secured. Short serve here in the net. Tie game. Lady Tigers just trying to find a way to win game 2 and force a third. See if they can become the first team to knock off PSJA here in this tournament. Back to serve, Aurelia Cifuentes. Knuckleballs that over. Right side attack this time. Vinto back there to dig that for the Tigers. Good chance here for the Bears. High set by Campos. Spiked across, back row, too far again. Tigers score a point. Mercedes back up by 1. Next serve across. Played by the Bears. High set, tipped over. Tigers set it up on the right side, spiked over. High set in the middle. And a kill for the Bears, ties it at 17. 17-17 game. Substitution checking in for the Bears of PSJA as Jermaine Campos re-enters the game on the front row. Serve over. High set on the back row. Mika Vinto on the attack. Dug that time by Murillo. Set it off the net. Spiked across in the back row. Played by the Tigers up high. One-handed over. Bears right back at you on the attack. Set it up in the middle. Back corner there to play that. A good dig again by Zamora back there on that back row. Ball up high. And up and through the rafters. And another point scored. Bears back on top. 18-17. PSJA up by 1. Next serve across. Short serve just off the net. That's an ace for the Bears. 2-point lead. Timeout called by the Tigers. Bears trying to sweep this. Tigers trying to stay close.
Check out Hosanna Construction in Farr. Formerly known as Guzman Construction, Hosanna Construction can design and build your home or take care of your home improvements. 802 East Expressway 83, Farr, Texas, Hosanna Construction. Formerly known as Guzman Construction. Call now for free consultations at 956-435-0381. Hosanna Construction, committed to serving you.
Thank you, Hacienda Ford, for hosting this event.
Back here after the timeout, PSJA Lady Bears have been tested here in game 2 after rolling through the first game of this best of 3. And now they'll be serving up by a couple here, trying to get to that 20 point here in this game to 25. Tigers keep that ball in play. Bears set it up on the left side, spike it across. Tigers there to keep that one in play again. Pass by Villarreal, set by Campos, kill by Hernandez. Tigers able to withstand that barrage. Coming right back at you now. Tip it over. Bears there to play that. Miscommunication on the back row. They will get it over. Tigers, though, set it up on the hit. Angled again. This time the Bears better coverage. Back row plays it by the Tigers as the rally continues. Back on the Bears side, point Mercedes. Tigers earned that one. They had the Bears just reeling in recovery mode for most of that play. Serve now by the Tigers. Comes across, played up by the Bears. Ball at the net, challenge there, won by PSJA, and they go up by 2. (20-18) score. Have to wait for fans to file back. You can see just how cramped it is up there. Trying to serve. That's an ace served up nonetheless by Vivica Villarreal. Vivica put it away. She had to wait for an entire team to clear her area just to free up the serve. Just calmly served up an ace after that. Next serve by Villarreal. Just across the net, nearly another ace. Tigers one-handed over, nothing doing. Bears score again on another strong serve by Villarreal. Another serve coming up. Villarreal puts it into play. Another serve just off the net, another ace. Villarreal serving up 3 aces in a row. And now the Bears up by 5 as she'll serve again. Jump serve across, played by the Tigers. Another ace, that's 4 in a row by Villarreal. Vivica Villarreal just taking this on her own. Tigers recover the volleyball. This went from a game the Tigers were in with a chance to look at finding a way to win to now they're just trying to hang in there and keep this one going. Villarreal tries to serve to end it. Tigers on the return of serve from the right side, spike it over. Villarreal gets it. Set at the middle, punched over. Played by the Tigers, ball punched back over. Bears win it, 25-18, and sweep yet again. PSJA continues to dominate here in play. They ran the table yesterday in pool play and win here easily. 25-18, the final in this one. I want to remind you, fans, next big event in San Benito takes place at South Texas Music Festival on September 21st. That's on a Saturday at Haven Memorial Park on Bowie Street in San Benito from 4 to 11, South Texas Music Festival. It's going to do it for our broadcast. Our thanks in part to the guys and gang at Hacienda Ford as one of our title sponsors here on Rio Sports Live. They are instrumental in a big way for what we're doing for you. Our coverage continues. We got another game coming up. Until then, so long for just a while.